Hello everyone, and welcome back to my fragrance channel Elixis. Today we are going to be reviewing a fragrance by the house of Coach, and this is Coach Open Road. Stick around until the end of this video for me to give it a rating, and let's get started. No need to take off a cap on this bottle because this bottle does not have one. So let's spray this directly on our arm so we can get kind of an idea of what this fragrance smells like. This fragrance is very, very nice. This is a very versatile fragrance as well. Now let's get further into detail with this fragrance. So with this fragrance releasing in 2022, this fragrance flew extremely under the radar compared to Coach's main line for men, which is just called Coach for Men. When you first spray it on, you really get a lot of that lemon that comes through and a little bit of that apple towards the top, but in mostly the middle, I get a lot of that peppery vibe with some lavender that really brings it together. I get a little clary sage, but I mainly smell the pepper and lavender in the heart of this fragrance. And in the base, I get a lot of that like vetiver-y mixed with some cedar and a little patchouli. Right off the bat, if you know about fragrances, you're probably thinking, well, that sounds a lot like a similar fragrance in Dolce & Gabbana's K. To me, I would say that you're kind of right. This does have a lot of resemblance to that fragrance, and although I don't have it in my collection, I personally like this a lot more than Dolce & Gabbana K, just because this is a lot more youthful. And like I said before, this is an extremely versatile fragrance, and you can't really go wrong with this. It's one of those fragrances that if you just wanted something to just have on a shelf, pick it up, spray it, and go about your day, you can do that. You can use it in any occasion, any setting, as long as you're in spring, summer, and fall so people can pick it up on you. It's a really good fragrance to have. The more I smell this fragrance though, the more I realize why it flew under the radar as much as it did. And that's mainly because this is not a flashy fragrance. This is not something that's going to turn multiple heads. And this is not anything groundbreaking at all. Just something that if a guy just wants to pick something up and knows that he smells good, this is something he would reach for. So even though Dolce & Gabbana K and this are very similar, the main difference you get in this is the opening notes and the smell of the vetiver, in my opinion. That's why I lean more towards this. That's why I bought this one versus Dolce & Gabbana K for this kind of scent profile, because this is more of like earthy type vetiver, but not like a dirty earthy type vetiver. To me, the Dolce & Gabbana K one smells a little bit more dirty, and I like the opening notes of the lemon and red apple more than I do Dolce & Gabbana, which opens with like some blood orange and juniper berries. Alright, so to pick off where we left off, let's talk about this fragrance's performance. And on me, it's about average performance, I would say. Probably a good 5 to 7 hours is what I get with this fragrance. It becomes a skin scent very quickly, but I can still smell it around like the 6-7 hour mark. So I would say about 5 to 7 hours is on average what this would last. I will list the notes on Fragrantica here off to the side and in the middle. And in terms of price, it's honestly decently priced. I want to say a good like discounter store would run you about $30 to $50, which to me, that's a steal for something like this. Yeah, it might be a little bit average smelling and kind of basic, but for someone that's really just looking for a good bottle to keep for almost all seasons, except for the winter time, this is a really good pickup. I would get this if you're one of those guys just looking for something to smell good. In terms of giving it a rating, I would say that this is not one of the highest rated fragrances in my collection, but it does its role perfectly, and it's a very good all-around fragrance. It's kind of middle of the pack for me, so I will give this a rating of a flat 75 out of 100. And I don't mean flat as in bad. I just mean across the board, really. On the dot, 75. No more, no less. Like, you don't have to really think. This is one of those that you reach for on your shelf or wherever you keep your fragrances, and you don't even really have to think about it. You just put it on and then you're good to go. A solid fragrance that really you can't go wrong with, and it's not going to let you down. Well, that is going to do it for my in-depth review of Coach Open Road. If you guys liked it, hit that like button. Subscribe if you want. If not, there's no hard feelings. And until the next fragrance review, I will see you guys in the next one.